Tommy Fury and Jake Paul's fight will 100% be a draw. 100%. Right, hear me out first. Hear me out first. Jake Paul is pretty much, at this moment in time, the biggest cash cow in boxing. And as crazy as that is to think, it's true. Jake Paul is the biggest cash cow in boxing. They've got to keep him going. They've got to keep running his stream. They've got to keep running his little train. Keep doing it. So, if he gets beat, then it'll all be over. His professional career will be finished. Everything that he dreamed of will be over. He'll go back to fighting YouTubers and celebrities like KSI, even though he'll probably fight them next, but still. But yeah, his whole career will be done. There won't be any hype around him anymore because he's not classed as a professional boxer if he loses. So his whole career will be over, and that'll be it for Jake Paul. Whereas with Tommy Fury, on the other hand, he is obviously a Fury. He's got a big name to uphold. And if he fails and he loses, it'll look so bad on the Furies. I know Tommy Fury is not Tyson Fury, but still, he's still family members with him. He's still his brother. So he's got to uphold that name and legacy. Now, obviously these are just the points that I think of, but if you look at Tyson Fury's fight with Deontay Wilder, the first fight, now at the time it was released, it was very controversial about who won and who lost, and no one won or lost, as it was a draw, as everyone knows now. And everyone thought, well, the majority of people thought Tyson Fury won that fight, which I did too. Now, the reason it was a draw, in my opinion, was to get as much money out of these fights as possible. If it wasn't a draw and Tyson Fury won, they maybe would have had another fight and that would have been the end of it. But no, they had 3 fights. It was even called the trilogy, like some sort of box office movie. Yeah, I'm right. It's crazy. But anyway, back to my point. They made the first fight a draw, even though Tyson Fury pretty much won. And the second fight, Tyson Fury won. And that's okay. He should have won the first time, so he won the second time. And then they made a third fight. And because he won again, they couldn't possibly make any more fights, because it's just, Deontay Wilder's just going to get beat every single time. What's entertaining about that? So the reason I'm saying this is because obviously that's Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, 2 of the biggest heavyweights of all time. Well, one of the biggest anyway, shall I say. Now, I think the reason for the draw in the first time with that fight was obviously to stretch it out as much as possible, because it's such a controversial fight. No one really knew who was going to win at the time. I know people said Tyson Fury was going to win. Some people said Deontay Wilder was going to win. So the first fight, it was a fair fight, even though Tyson Fury won. But it was still classed as a fair fight, a draw. And they just wanted to stretch it out as much as possible. Now, with Tommy Fury and Jake Paul, I'm not even going to lie, it is similar magnitude. It's similar. It's a similar card than the other one. I mean, I can't get my words out. The hype around it is similar, is what I'm trying to say. The hype around this fight is similar to the Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury fight. Like, I'm hearing it all over Sky Sports. Everywhere I go, I hear about this fight. So it's not just some little YouTuber fighting anymore. It's actually coming on a bigger scale. So, back to my point before I go off topic anymore, because that's what I like to do. Whew. Tommy Fury and Jake Paul will 100% be a draw, and mark my words, I am making this video on the 25th of February. And if I get this wrong and people see it, then call me all you want. But if I get it right, I better be all over Twitter and you better share it about. But I will get it right, because if one of them wins, say for example Tommy Fury wins and Jake Paul loses, I don't know if Jake Paul will want to fight again, because he even admitted on one of his interviews that if he loses to Tommy Fury, then his chances of being a professional boxer, going down as the world champion and all that, are pretty much over. He admitted that himself, so I really don't think he's going to want a second fight. And if Tommy Fury loses and Jake Paul wins, then Tommy Fury, I don't think he'll ever fight again, to be honest. That'll be a big L. It's an L on both sides. It's an L on both sides. So I really don't know. I think it is going to be a draw, because I think they want to stretch the fight out as much as possible. I think they will get 3 fights, a trilogy fight, just like the Deontay Wilder and the Tyson Fury fight, except with this one. I don't know, it's just, these fights, they always put too much on the line. There's always too much on the line. I know they're trying to sell the pay-per-view. I know they're trying to do all this, but there's always way too much on the line, and it's not realistic. Like Jake Paul Jake Paul wanted Tommy Fury to sign a contract basically, where if Jake Paul wins, then he keeps all of his money and Tommy Fury's money. But if Tommy Fury wins, then Tommy Fury keeps all of Jake's money and the money he makes off the fight, of course. So that one example there alone makes me think that this is going to end up in a draw, because if none of them win, then none of them get to keep each other's money. And the whole point of Jake offering the contract was to add more intensity to the fight and make it feel like they've got more on the line, so people really want to watch and figure out who's going to win. And yeah, it's 100% going to be a draw. 100%. I've not even seen no one even really talk about this. 100% going to be a draw. And if I'm wrong, then call me out, but it's 100% going to go to points and be a draw. 1,000%. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. Peace.